I've lived through droughts, floods, and even that tornado that ripped half my barn apart. But I swear nothing makes your heart drop faster than that little metallic click in the dark. You ever hear a lighter cap snap open at midnight with the Texas wind scraping at your roof like it's got a grudge against you? That's the kind of sound that'll make you grab the shotgun before you even think twice. Ranger, my old shepherd, he was up before me. Hackles' raised teeth bared. For a second, I figured it was coyotes again until that stench of gasoline hit thick and bitter like a threat. I grabbed the flashlight, slipped on my boots, and checked the grainy camera feed by the window. 3 figures, all in black vests stenciled with county tactical unit, except, well, our county never had a tactical unit. Not ever. I froze just a second long enough to feel that fear crawling up my back. These weren't cops. They were ghosts in borrowed armor. One shook a gas can along the barn wall. Another set something shiny detonator maybe, or just another lighter. I wasn't about to stand there and wait. I racked a shell into my Remington, the sound echoing through the old house like thunder in a crypt. Ranger went wild, barking, scratching at the door, and I pushed outside into that cold, angry wind. The smell of gas was everywhere. My flashlight caught the edge of a mask, somebody freezing in place, his buddies turning, startled. "Who the hell are you?" I yelled, but all I heard back was my own voice bouncing off the windmill. The man with the can just raised his lighter click. "Drop it," I shouted, stepping closer. Click again. I squeezed the trigger. Thunder ripped through the night. One of them dropped, clutching his legs, screaming. The others vanished into the dark behind the SUVs lined up down the road. Then the burning started a lick of flame on the fence post. Dropped the gun, smothered the flame with a tarp, heart-pounding Ranger pacing beside me, wanting to give chase. When the smoke cleared, it was just silence except for my pulse in my ears and the hiss of wind in the grass. They left a half-full jerry can label peeled and a patch of melted rubber. Somebody'd spray-painted Clean Sweep 2.0 on the side. Didn't mean anything to me, not then, but it would. Oh, I'd remember it. Moonlight laid everything bare, shotgun in one hand, gas can in the other. Somewhere a siren started up, but it was way off. Might as well have been another planet. You'd think I'd have called it in right then. But I hesitated. Pride. Stubbornness. Hell, maybe. I just knew deep down no one would believe me. Who sends fake cops to burn a ranch? Who thinks up something like that? But the truth, ugly or simpler, was they didn't want to scare me. They wanted to erase me. So I sat on the porch with Ranger and the shotgun until sunrise, watching the horizon turn from black to red. I said it out loud, half promise, half warning. If they come back, I won't miss. By morning, everything looked calm. But out here, calm doesn't mean safe. Silence has teeth. The smell of gasoline stuck in the dirt even after I tried to bury it. Ranger wouldn't leave my side, growled every time the wind rattled the fence. At 7, my phone blew up. Local news had the story already. Local rancher fires on federal officers during inspection. Federal officers, my ass. They quoted a press release from the Sage Valley HOA Restoration Committee saying I'd opened fire without provocation. Signed at the bottom, Grant Wallace, President. That name hit me sideways. The event was barely 6 hours old. No police report, but the statement was polished, ready like they'd written it before any shots were fired. Later, I'd find out he was Karen Wallace's brother, the same Karen who nearly burned this town down a decade back. But right then, all I knew was someone out there wanted to make me the villain in my own story. Doorbell rang. Sheriff Blake Turner. Older than the Hills hat pulled low. Not my friend, but not my enemy. Ethan, he said, you want to tell me what the hell happened? So I did. Uniforms, gas cans, lighter gunshot. He listened. Eyes on the horizon. County records don't list any tactical unit, he muttered. Feds weren't here either. He rubbed the dirt by the fence diesel mixed with aviation fuel, he said. Not your usual farm stuff. So you believe me, I asked. I believe you saw what you saw, he said. But if this gets political, Ethan, these people play dirtier than we do. He glanced at the jerry can Clean Sweep 2.0. Where'd you hear that? I pointed. He went quiet. Keep your head down. But hiding wasn't an option now. By noon, the story was statewide. Reporters at the gate, neighbors rubbernecking one guy yelling from his truck. Hope your aim's better next time, Cole. I shut off my phone. At sundown, an email came from a blocked address map of my property, red X's over every building. Next time we bring proof. That kind of fear, it shifts something inside you. But that's when I figured it out. This wasn't about one shot fired. It was about making damn sure I wouldn't dare fire again. 2 days later, I got a letter Sage Valley HOA attendance required at the community meeting. The hall was packed sunlight cutting through blinds, faces, half familiar, half hostile. Banner on the wall, rebuilding trust, restoring order. Grant Wallace strode in suit, sharp, grin sharper, security men trailing. Mr. Cole. Glad you joined us, he purred. Wasn't much choice, I said. Choice is an illusion, he replied, eyes cold. He launched into a speech, violence, fear, one man's paranoia. Everyone looked at me. I stood up. You mean the peace you built with fake cops and gasoline? A ripple went through the crowd. Grant smiled tight. That's a serious accusation. The men you shot were authorized contractors. Authorized by who I shot back. He slipped, talked about investors. I pressed him. Neighborhood or business progress requires capital, Mr. Cole. Something your outdated lifestyle doesn't provide. The room got icy. I stepped closer. You want progress? Build it on your own damn land. His smile dropped. Everything here is my land. One way or another. Just then, Sarah Collins stood up in the back, arms crossed. You don't own this town, Mr. Wallace, and you sure as hell don't scare us. The tension snapped. Even Miguel by the door nodded quiet but fierce. Grant tried to reel it back, unity, he said, but nobody believed it. After the meeting, as the sun bled over the hills, Grant cornered me by his Lexus. You really should have stayed quiet, he said. There are forces here that don't stop for stubborn ranchers. I stared him down. There are men here who don't scare easy. He drove off. That night I stood on my porch, drink in hand, shotgun at my feet, knowing the next time I saw Grant Wallace, he'd be holding a match. Next week, it was envelopes, violation notices, noise complaints, health hazards. Every morning, another fine. By Thursday, 2 SUVs pulled in environmental inspectors with shiny new IDs. Reports of chemical runoff, they said. From manure, I asked, dumbfounded. They wanted access to my barns, no warrant, just attitude. I let them. They'd come in anyway. Spent an hour poking around, marking things, whispering. That night, I took it all to Linda Parker, my late father's old attorney. Her office was full of cedar and old coffee. These codes are years out of date, she said. They're bluffing. HOA can't touch agricultural land. Their jurisdiction stops at the residential line. Then why do it, I asked. She just shrugged. Not about winning, about wearing you down. Make you the problem, drive you to sell or slip up. But we fight back on our terms. She handed me a pad. Document everything. So I did new cameras, plates, times. Sure enough, just before dawn, headlights again. By morning, another envelope. Final notice pending zoning review and property compliance termination. Termination that sounded less like paperwork, more like a threat. I told myself maybe the storm had blown past, but I knew better. Evil like Grant's doesn't disappear, it waits. Then one morning, Ranger went crazy. Smoke in the air, I ran to the north fence and found one of my cows burned, twisted dead. Red spray paint on the post, clean sweep 2.0. I took a photo, sent it to Linda. She called right back. Where exactly? North fence. She went quiet. 10 years ago, Karen Wallace started Operation Clean Sweep to buy out ranchers. Some didn't sell barns, burned livestock, killed. Sheriff called them accidents. Grant was just picking up where she left off. Only this time, smarter paperwork instead of gasoline. Well, mostly. That word chilled me. By afternoon, Blake was back. He saw the carcass jaw set. Karen Wallace nearly set this valley on fire. Now Grant's carrying the torch. But don't expect the county to act fast. He's got people on the inside. That night, I walked the fence shotgun ready, every shadow a threat. Then I caught a flicker of light, someone with a match. Raised my scope, but they were gone. I knew it wasn't a warning. It was a promise. Next morning, Miguel showed up, neighbor quiet type. Heard what happened, he said. You got cameras, I showed him the footage. He spotted something I missed. Drone, he said. Thermal expensive. He took the footage to analyze. That evening, Sarah Collins stopped by, patched up a cut I hadn't noticed, left me a radio. Channel 33 bursts of static means me. Why, I asked. She just glanced at the hills. Because next time they come, it won't be with paint. 2 days later, Miguel came back, found drone traces linked to Cobalt Risk Solutions, private contractor tied to the HOA. They're surveilling, trying to catch you reacting, maybe set you up. That night, the three of us made a plan map. Cameras, frequencies, fallback points. Ranch watch. I used to think I came out here to escape the world. Maybe the world followed you home, Sarah said. Then we make sure it leaves in pieces, Miguel answered. They want a war. I said they just found one. It started again with fire, flames climbing my barn horses, screaming. I yanked Daisy free. Copper kicked his own stall open, but I couldn't save the smallest calf Buddy trapped behind splintered boards. I heard 2 figures running Ranger barking furiously. Another beam crashed. I staggered out just as the roof caved in. Sheriff Blake pulled me to his truck. We saved what we can, he said, and we watched the barn burn. By dawn, it was over. All that was left was smoke and ashes, broken metal. Miguel found a melted drone mount. They were recording this, he said. Sarah swore. Linda Parker arrived with evidence payments, shell companies, all tied to Cobalt and Blue Range Holdings owned by Elliot Kane, the man behind Karen and now Grant. They burned your barn for a business plan, she said. Turns out every ranch in 5 miles was being targeted for luxury homes, a private airstrip, Green Horizon redevelopment. Miguel found more drone footage stored on HOA servers protected by federal contractor credentials. Someone inside law enforcement is helping. Linda handed me a court discovery order. We file Monday. Once the court sees this, they'll have to act. We gathered that night, 4 of us against an empire, knowing we'd crossed a line. Outside headlights. Grant Wallace and his thugs suited up trespassing. Miguel streamed it live. You think the video changes anything? Grant sneered. I fired a warning shot. Next one goes higher. Deputies arrived Blake with warrants. Grant tried to bluff, but Linda called him out. You're being detained for arson, fraud, and conspiracy. For the first time, Grant's mask cracked. But it wasn't over. Blake brought me a folder, everything tied to Kane, every parcel, every payment, new LLCs, new offers, my land at the center. You fight with light, I told him. The truth's out there now. He handed me a flash drive. Be careful. This guy's got power lawyers, friends in high places. If you go after him, be ready for the long haul. Already buried one enemy, I told him. I'm not afraid to dig deeper. 3 weeks later, Linda filed the federal complaint. Cameras packed the courthouse. Kane sat stone-faced. But when Linda read out the payments, the drone evidence, the phone calls, he finally blinked. Guilty. 12 years, $10 million in restitution. HOA dissolved, Blue Range Holdings gone. The land, my land, stayed mine. We rebuilt the barn. Miguel on security, Sarah running rescue, Linda starting a nonprofit for HOA abuse victims, Blake stopping by every Sunday just to check the gate. One day a mother and her daughter brought a stray pup. "Heard you take in strays," she said. "Yeah, I told her. We do that around here." That night I walked the new fence, sun setting orange behind the hills, same color as the fire that tried to take everything. Only this time it was peace. Ranger beside me, tail wagging, I thought about my father, this land, all it took to keep it free. Some storms come to destroy. Others clear the path. Out of the ashes, something stronger grew. This place is more than dirt. It's a promise, one nobody's ever going to own again. So if you're still listening, if this story hit home, if you've ever stood your ground, tell me where you're watching from. Texas, Montana, maybe just your own little corner where someone tried to take what's yours. Drop a comment, share your story. Justice doesn't always ride in with sirens. Sometimes it shows up with a shotgun and the will to keep fighting. I'm Ethan Cole. Thanks for sticking with me. Until next time, stay strong, stay honest, and I'll see you down the line.